Hello and welcome to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays Neverwinter Nights 2. I'm your host Lord Fenton. In this Neverwinter Nights 2 Don't Panic series, we're going to go over the basics of the game, including some races, combat, exploration, and more. As always, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more guides like this. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so it'll be updated more. You're wondering, wait a second, I ticked off that tiefling. I don't know what to do. There's enemies surrounding me. I just sprung a trap. Help. I really need help. Do not panic, everyone. Help is on the way. Now, this is your menu right here. This is where you save your game, load your game, export your characters, go in your option menu, exit the game, or go into the main menu. My advice for when you get in the option menu after you do your graphics, sounds, etc. is the difficulties. Do the two lowest ones. Just trust me, it's your first time doing it. Otherwise, you will get murdered. So I'm going to show you how to save the game. Yeah, save often, save early. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back, and that's not a good thing at all. And that's your save right here, as you see before you. It's very simple, very easy to do. And I'm going to go ahead and just make a save right now. Yeah, we're going to see Bob in a few moments. So save your game. I do mean it when you zone in. And yeah, this game has an influence system. Make sure you definitely save before some key moments, just in case you want to keep a certain person in a party. So let's get to the next part of the video guide. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Neverwinter Nights 1 versus Neverwinter Nights 2. Those of you who's been playing Neverwinter Nights 1 or watching my channel, there's the difference. First of all, it's more party focused in Neverwinter Nights 2 versus 1, which you have one character and two henchmen in your party. This game has the 4. Now, there's some balances changes from 1 to 2 also. For example, no time stop and no devastating critical hits at all. And of course, high in plain sight is on a 5-second timer in this game. So if you like it instant from Neverwinter Nights 1, you're going to be disappointed. The crafting system, I'm going to be honest, is way improved from 1 to 2. You get to make some really good things. Also, races level adjustment is in Neverwinter Nights 2 versus 1, which is just a title if you put in the sub race thing. Other than that, both games are great. So that's the difference between the two. Let's get to the next part. Now, next up is the races of Neverwinter Nights 2. There's a whole bunch of them, including sub-races from Neverwinter Nights 1. Now, I will definitely go over the level adjustment ones, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and introduce each and every race in the game, and here we go. Now, the first one on the list is the Gold Dwarves. So, their ability adjustments is +2 Constitution, -2 Dexterity. They gain Dark Vision, which is very nice. Now, they gain Stone Cutting, which is +2 in Search when they're indoors or underground, not the outdoors. Now, they have a bonus in Lore too. Weapon Affinity, Dwarven War Axes are counted as martial weapons, not exotic. Now, they have resistance versus poison, also resistance versus certain spells and spell-like effects too. And I'm going to say this right now. Overall, this is a great fighter race. So definitely pick a fighter if you want to go that path exactly. And the next one is the Grey Dwarves. Now, they have +2 Constitution, -4 Charisma, Dark Vision. They can see 120 feet. Dwarven War Axes are treated as martial weapons, which is good. They have that stone cutting like their gold cousins. They're immune to poison, and they're immune to Phantasma, also immune to Perilous. So those are great immunities. Hardness versus spells, and they're great against giants, great against orcs and goblins like the Gold Dwarves I forgot to mention. +4 to stealth bonuses too, which is really good. Keen senses, so they get a nice bonus to listen and spot checks too. So if you have points in there, good for you on that. They do get some spell-like abilities, everyone. And let's see what they get. Enlarge, invisibility. Yeah, those are the two they definitely get. They're light sensitive. That is the downside. Now, they're great fighters, so they don't get penalized, just like the Gold Dwarfs too. And this is a level adjustment class too, so be forewarned if you're going to be playing a Grey Dwarf. So it's going to take you a little bit longer to level than your average normal dwarfs. And that's about it. I'm going to say right now they're a really good class. I tried them out in this build video as a fighter. It was pretty fun to play as them too. And now next up on the list, after I just leave this here for a few seconds, there, I'll just leave it there. It's the Shield Dwarf. Let's see here. +2 Constitution, -2 Charisma. They have dark vision, not like the gray dwarfs. That's 120 feet. They get 60. Stone cutting, just like the other two dwarves. Lore affinity, just like the gold dwarves. Dwarven war axes are treated as martial weapons, which is good. They have hardness versus poison and spells. No immunity on poison. Let's see here. They could be great against giants, also great against orcs and goblins. Their favorite classes of fire. They are really good fighters. Now you pair them with, say, for example, Weapon Master and Dwarven Defender. You're set. There's no penalties at all, and that's it for this class. Next one are the elves. Now, first one on the list is the Drought, aka Dark Elves. They get +2 dexterity, +2 intelligence, +2 charisma, -2 constitution. They have immunity to sleep effects. So in other words, you cannot put them to sleep. Their weapon proficiencies are elf, like for example, longswords, rapiers, longbows, etc. So if you're a wizard, you get to use those type of weapons. They have keen senses too, so they get bonuses to listen, spot, and search. Now they have darkness per day and see invisibility. That darkness is really useful if you're a drow rogue. And they have dark vision, so they could definitely see in dark 120 feet. It's better than the other elves on the list. They have high spell resistance, so that's a good thing. Strong will. Now, like the gray dwarfs, they're light sensitive, so you go into daylight or you get hit by a daylight spell, yeah, you get penalized. Their favorite class is a wizard. However, with those stats there, they become a rogue, anything else but still wizard. If you multi-class them, you won't get penalized. Now, there are level adjustments too. So be forewarned, it's going to take longer to level up a drow wizard versus a moon elf. So that's my warning to you all. And that's about it for this race. Next up is the moon elves. They're common in this game, for the elves at least. +2 dexterity, -2 constitution. They have a form of magical sleep immunity, so that's a good thing. Low light vision. They're not like the drow, but still, they can see better than humans. Weapon proficiency are exactly like the drow, so if you're a moon elf wizard, you get to use a longsword. They have keen senses too, just like the drow, and also like the drow too. Their favorite class is a wizard, so they're a good wizard class too. Yeah, I test that out. Now, next on the list is the sun elf. Yeah, there you go. Now, they have +2 intelligence, -2 constitution, hardness versus enchantments. In other words, immunity to sleep spells too. Low light vision, just like your moon elf cousins. Weapon proficiency, like the other elves too. Keen senses. Well, they'll have listen, search, and spot. Their favorite class is a wizard, everyone. So they're great for multi-classing with a wizard. So do that if you want to go that route too. Now, next up on the list is the wild elf. They have +2 dexterity, -2 intelligence. Yeah, you're going to see where this is going to go eventually. Hardness versus enchantment, immune to sleep. Low light vision, like the moon elf before you, and the sun elf too. Weapon proficiency, just like the other elves. Keen senses, like the other ones. Their favorite class is a sorcerer. So if you multi-class, say a sorcerer and a bard, yeah, you won't get penalized. That's just an example. Same thing as a sorcerer and a paladin too, if you're going the Red Dragon Disciple route. Yeah, I just gave you a hint on that. And last but not least is a wood elf. Now, their adjustment is +2 strength, +2 dexterity, -2 constitution, -2 intelligence. They have that immunity to magical sleep. Low light vision, like the other elves, except for drow. Drow better sight in that. Weapon proficiencies is just like the elves too. They have keen senses like the other ones. Their favorite class is a ranger. They are really good rangers, and rangers in this game is much improved over Neverwinter Nights 1. And that's about it for the elves. Now, next on the list is the gnomes. There's two types, your regular rock gnomes or the deep gnomes. Now, the deep gnomes have +2 dexterity, +2 wisdom. However, they take a hit in -2 strength and -2 charisma. Yeah, probably a bad idea to make them a paladin or any charisma classes. Now, they're small. That means one thing, they gain some bonuses. However, certain weapons are locked out, so you cannot see a gnome of any kind using a great axe, for example. And they'll be holding that longsword with 2 hands. Now, they gain dark vision due to the fact they lived in the Underdark, which is 120 feet it goes up to. Stone cutting, +2 search indoors. Illusion affinity. They also have bonuses versus goblins versus reptiles too. Slippery defense, +4 dodge to armor class, which is real nice. Durability, +2 racial bonuses to all saving throws. That's really good. Also, keen hearing, so they get a +2 bonus to listen checks. They also get +2 bonus to craft alchemy. Now, their abilities is is, let's see here, entropy shield, invisibility, and of course blindness, which is good. They have high spell resistance. Now their favorite class is a rogue, and those stats are pretty decent for a rogue minus the strength department. And bad news is their level adjustment is +3, so you're going to be taking a while to level up this deep gnome. That's my advice. So if you want a nice challenge, this is the race to play as. Yeah, you could do dares and YouTube videos on it too. And that's about it for this one. So we're going to go ahead and get their cousins, the rock gnome. Now they have +2 constitution, -2 strength. They're small size, so in other words, no great swords they will use. Instead, they'll carry a long sword with 2 hands. Also, they have low light vision, so they get to see in the dark at some point or see some distance. Hardness versus illusion, and also illusion affinity too, which they get some bonus checks against illusion spells. They're great against goblins and reptiles too, so they have +1 bonus against them, which is a good thing. +4 versus giants too, and they got the keen hearing and keen smell, same as your deep gnome cousins. Their favorite class is a bard this time. Neverwinter Nights 1, their favorite class was a wizard, but it was a illusionist specialization wizard. But still, the change is pretty nice. So I'm going to just leave this here for 1 or 2 more seconds before I do go to the next race and give my thoughts on it. Yeah, rock gnomes are pretty good too for if you want to go that route. Now next up is our halfling friends here. So there are 2 to choose from. Now this one is the Lightfoot halfling. That's +2 dexterity, -2 strength. Small size. They can only use 2-handed swords. That is long swords, for example. They cannot use great swords, great axes. Let's see here. +2 to move silently checks. Fearless, +2 morale bonus versus fear. Good aim, so they're great with ranged weapons. Keen hearing, +2 listen checks. Lucky, +1 to all saving throws. Their favorite class is a rogue. These guys are great rogues. Yeah, they're fun to play as too. I tried them out. Now, next up on the list is the Strong Heart Halflings. +2 dexterity, -2 strength. They're small, so you will not see them with a great axe. Instead, they'll be holding a rapier with 2 hands. They also have the same as their cousins in the move silently. Also, fearless 2 department, aim 2. Same thing with the keen hearing in the Lightfoot halfling department. They gain an extra feat, so they're the same for the rogue. So if you want to go there, the other one's the best one I just mentioned. Now, half-elves, there's 2 kinds. Now, they get hardness versus enchantments, so they get bonuses against certain spells. Also, immunity to magical sleep. Low light vision, they see better than humans. Keen sense, that's +1 to listen, search, and spot. And I also do gain +2 bonuses to diplomacy and bluff checks too. They come any classes, just like a human, so where when a multi-class will be the highest and won't incur penalties, like for example fighter 4 and paladin level 1. I'm just giving out examples. Next up is the half drow, half human, half drow. Obviously, immunity to sleep, just like their drow cousins. So here, dark vision, they can see up to 60 feet. Cut that in half from their drow cousins, of course. They get the other same 2 keen senses and ability, like the half elves. Favorite class is any, just like before. Now, next up is your half-orc. Yeah, I'm going to accidentally click that. Sorry about that. Their stats are +2 strength, -2 intelligence, -2 charisma. They get dark vision, so they can see up to 60 feet. Their favorite class is a barbarian. They are great and wonderful barbarians. They're great and wonderful fighters, too, if you want to go that far. Just the -2 intelligence you have to recover. Next up are humans. There's no stat bonuses or positives or negatives on that. The quick master, they still gain 1 feat per level. Skill, they gain 4 extra skill points when they start out and 1 extra skill per level. Favorite any, so humans still be good at classes no matter what. They won't be terrible. So it's up to you on how you build your human. Now, next up, this is new to Neverwinter Nights 2 from 1, Plain Touch. Now, the Asimirs, they're divine blood angels plus humans. Now, they gain is +2 wisdom, +2 charisma. They got positives. Dark vision 60 feet, which is good. They have resistance to acid, cold, and electricity. They gain light ability to use once per day. Keen senses, they get bonuses to listen and spot checks. Their favorite class is a paladin. Oh, they are great paladins, I'll tell you that right now. Now, bad news is their level adjustment is +1, so it'll take a while for them to level over a human, but still, with all those boons there, they are really good. So many builds have charisma builds on paladins, even sorcerers too. Yeah, just search them. Next up is the Tiefling sub-race. So here are their stats: +2 dexterity, +2 intelligence, -2 charisma, dark vision up to 60 feet. They get resistance to cold, fire, and electricity. They get darkness once per day. Also, they get bonuses to bluff and hide. Their favorite class is a rogue. However, they're great as swashbucklers too, and some other classes with a nice dex and intelligence combo. Their level adjustment bad news is +1. I'll definitely go over that when we get to that section of the video. Other than that, yeah, Tieflings are great. They're not like your Dungeon Dragon 4.0 to 5.02. So, yeah, just remember, this is the last of the good old days what these Tieflings looked like before 4.0 came. If you like the Tieflings that are 3.0 anyways. Well, this is 3.5, but still, you all get the point. So, next up on the list is the Air Gen size. They gain as +2 dexterity, +2 intelligence, -2 on the wisdom, and -2 on the charisma. They get dark vision, summon gale. So in other words, if someone doesn't get the save, they get knocked down. Air resistance, they obviously get their best favorite class is a fighter. They're great fighters, decent berserkers. If you're going melee frontline fighters that are not wisdom and charisma, well, these guys are the way to go. Unfortunately, level adjustment is at 1, everyone. So you're going to have to suffer. So what I'm going to do right now is just leave this here for a few more seconds before I get to the Earth Cousins. And here we go on them. Now, I'm going to just, yeah, let's do it. Now, Earth ones, they are +2 strength, +2 constitution. However, their wisdom is -2 and charisma -2. Dark vision, same as their other Air Jinsai cousins. Now, they get merged with stone. In other words, they get damage resistance. That's good for frontline fighters. And their earth resistance is 5. Favorite class is a fighter. And their level adjustment, unfortunately, is 1. Here's my advice about them. You make them a fighter, give them a shield, then get the prestige class, and Neverwinter 9. You got some really good protectors here. They'll protect people. So great for that. Next one's the Fire Gen size. They're +2 intelligence, -2 charisma. Let's see here. Dark vision's up to 60 feet. Let's see here. They have a flame ability which does 2d4 damage. They have fire resistance of 5. Now this one's weird. Their favorite class is a fighter. I could probably say is you could probably make them wizard too. That'll be fine. Yeah, favorite classes by the way is you won't get penalized if you multi-class with a fighter, for example. If you go like a wizard, yeah, you'll get penalized big time experience points. That's just a tip for me. And their level adjustments +1, unfortunately. Next one is the Water Jinsai. +2 constitution, -2 charisma. They gain dark vision. However, they gain a shrouding fog that if they drop it down, any foes get into it, yeah, they start to miss more often. Well, water resistance they get. Their favorite class is a fighter. They're like the Earth ones, just give them a shield, off they go. But I feel the Earth ones are better in the frontline tanking department. Level adjustments +1, so they'll take a little bit longer than humans to level. So that's my warning on that. Now, next one is Yuan-Ti Pureblood. They are +2 dexterity, +2 intelligence, and +2 charisma. They get dark vision. Scale skin, that's 1 AC bonus, so in other words, armor class. Spell resistance are high, that's 11 plus their character level. They get snake senses, which is the alertness feat. You get that. And then you get blind fighting. And then they get spell abilities like ammo trance, cause fear, charm person, darkness, and entangle. Their level adjustment is +2. However, they're great rangers. That's what their favorite class say is. But the stat setup I see right there, they're perfect rangers. Yeah, if you want to make Yuan-Ti Ranger, go ahead and do so. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see them either dual wielding weapons or go ahead and using a archery weapon too. Now, next up is your Grey Orcs. So they have +2 strength, +2 wisdom. However, they take a hit on -2 intelligence and -2 charisma. Now, as for they have a speed of 40 feet, so they can run fast. Now, next up is light sensitivity. So bad news about them is simple, everyone. These Grey Orcs, Yeah, if they're in the daylight, they will take a penalty on their attack rolls. So be careful on that. Now, they can also sense hidden better than some of the other races too, especially when they're using track. Favorite class is a cleric. So these are good cleric builds. Also, I'm going to say to a degree, or is any other race with a wisdom and strength combination too. Level adjustments, one, that's the downside. So here's my final advice about these races. Go which one you want to play. If it's your first time doing it, if you like a certain race or something like that, go for it, even if it's a halfling fighter or a half orc sorcerer. So let's go ahead and get to the level adjustment part of the video. Now let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, level adjustment races. Some of the races in Neverwinter Nights 2 will suffer this, unfortunately. You still get their positive and negatives, like for example the Drow Dark Vision and their light sensitivity weakness there. However, I'm going to go ahead and explain right now the ECL plus 1, that's what they say are level adjustments. So for example, if it's a level adjustment 1, they have to actually gain 3,000 experience points before going from 1 to 2. Now, level adjustment 2 races will have to gain 6,000 experience points before going from 1 to 2, for example. And finally, if you're a deep gnome, yeah, that's 10,000 experience points you need in order to get from 1 to 2. As for the effective character level, for example, if you're a level 1 human, and then there's a level 1 drow there too, the level 1 drow will equal a level 3 human. So do keep that in mind too, due to the fact of the strengths and weaknesses. So let's get to the next section of the character creation part of this guide. Now, next up is the classes in Neverwinter Nights 2. So I advise definitely take your time in looking at each class you like to play as. So if you're a frontline fighter, go for something like a fighter or barbarian, for example. If you want to heal, cleric or druid. Arcane casting, magic from long distance, yes, wizards and sorcerers, for example. You want to steal stuff or cause havoc, well, pick a rogue or a bard, for example. Now, I'm briefly go over these since I have 2 videos on those anyways. Now, barbarians are frontline fighters. They have a high hit point dice, so 1d12 when it rolls. Their main thing is their rage, which boosts up their strength and, of course, get a little bit of penalties. They get a wear down penalty after the rage goes bye-bye. They have fast movement and some other feats too, which is really nice. So that's about it for the barbarian class. Next up is bard. They are arcane casters in an unusual way. So they get to pick and choose their spells when they cast them. And their spells are charisma based, and they could use light armor in Neverwinter Nights 2 in order to cast their spells. Unlike Neverwinter Nights 1, where you have to take off all their armor in order to sing a song. Still, if you want to go beyond that, the still spell feat is good. They have high lore bonuses, so they can identify some things really well too. They also inspire the party members, and other songs can also hinder foes too, so keep that in mind. And I'm going to go ahead and just let y'all look at this a little bit briefly. Pause the video at any time if you want to. Next up is the clerics. They're divine casters, so the difference between arcane and divine is this. Arcane is if they wear armor, for example heavy, they will incur a arcane casting failure. Divine casters do not, so they can cast in plate, leather, or something medium. Their spells are healing, attacking spells too, also against undead, the cleric. They also could turn undead, which is powerful. Now they have domains, so they get certain spells earlier than they should if it's a cleric type, or better yet, some from the other classes too. So if you like a cleric, the heal, also a nuke, that's fine. Now druids, they are even though they're limited in armor, however they're divine casters, so no arcane failures at all. They have druid spells that could also heal and use nature to defend themselves, buff them up too. They can also change shape too, which is really nice. So later on, their wild shapes could be eventually elemental. Unfortunately, the shifter prestige class got is gone actually in Neverwinter Nights 2 yet. You won't see any of the goodness from that. Still, it's a good alternative to a cleric. That's what I'll say definitely. Now, new to Neverwinter Nights 2 is the favored souls. So they're like divine spellcasters, so no being penalized at that at all when you cast any divine magic. However, unlike a cleric or druids where they get their spells at certain levels, well, you have to pick and choose on them, so you're limited on selection. However, you get to cast more of those per day, or unless you rest up, of course. Now, difference with this class also is Deity plays a huge role. That's right, whatever deity you pick will be your weapon focus for this class. So for example, you pick Torm, your weapon focus will be a great sword. So definitely take your time on alignment and more too on that. Now, next up is your fighter. They're your frontline fighters. They gain 110d hit dice. They can use all sorts of armor. They can use simple and martial weapons. Now, unless you're a dwarf, you get dwarven axes for free to use in the martial. You have to go ahead and spend a feat on exotic. Other than that, they gain a lot of feats when they go, of course, level out their character out through their career. They're great frontline fighters. Think of them as your tank or your two-handed weapon users in plate. Now, next up is your monk class. They're like your frontline fighters. However, they use their fists and certain weapons. Armor, they use cloth. That's it. So if you go ahead and got some armor feats and then put a piece of armor on them, they lose their bonuses, like for example AC and more. So definitely get used to being on cloth wear if you're a monk. Now their AC bonuses is from their wisdom. So if you have 14 wisdom and up, you're good to go. Even items help you out too. They get some moves that are great if they're unarmed, like Fury of Blows. That's very nice too. For example, they get fast movement. Later on, they get some defensive feats too that helps them out greatly. So yeah, monks are good frontline fighters. And if you like their style of fighting, well, that's a way to go too. And now, after I give you all a few more seconds to check out our monk class, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the paladin class. And oh yeah, one more thing. Monks are restricted in alignment to lawful only, so be careful. Now, paladins, one alignment, that's lawful good. They're the ultimate good guys, that's why, or good gals too. Now, they're a cross between a fighter and cleric. They could use simple and martial weapons. They could use almost any weapons and armor except for tower shields. That's the only exception unless you put feat points into it. They're divine casters. They only have 1 through 4 spell levels on that. However, it's their own. They smite evil, so they use their charisma modifiers to do some damage. They also have their charisma modifiers to add to their save throws. They could turn undead like clerics, but it's a few levels down. And they can remove diseases and lay on hands. Lay on hands will also be a nuke to against undeads or to heal others. Now, Rangers in Neverwinter Nights 2, they got buffed up like crazy. Downside is they can only use light armor and shield, not medium armor from Neverwinter Nights 1. Their weapon efficiencies are simple and, of course, martial. They can cast spells too. It's wisdom based and divine based. Favorite enemies, they pick a type of enemy and they get bonus damage against them. So, for example, if you hate undead, go ahead and go favorite enemy those two. They gain some other feats too. Then they gain some other stuff like, for example, boost to tracking, and they can also gain later on hide in plain sight. Now they have 2 paths they could take. They could either do 2 weapon fighting or archery. So that's their paths. They could definitely go on that. And if you do a 2 weapon fighting path, you don't need that high dexterity in order to get the goods for that. So next up is your rogues. They're like your thieves. They're like your trap disablers. And they also could go into stealth and use their sneak attacks to take out a foe, as long as they don't get caught. Still, they have a whole bunch of skills, and they get skill points like crazy. It's like the best one for skill points. And they're basically dex focused, so you want high dexterity races to benefit from it. They get some kind of evasion and dodge feats too, which is good. They get some special feats they get to pick from too, which is very nice. Next up are sorcerers. They're like your arcane casters, so if you're wearing any plate, stuff like that, you can fail more than not than casting spells unless you have the still spell feat. Now, even though they're arcane casters, they do not learn from a book. They have to pick and choose their spells, so be careful on your selection. And they could only use certain weapons, and yeah, they're clothy, but that's alright. They get familiars too, which is good too. Other than that, yeah, just get their charisma up, you're set. So after the sorcerer is the spirit shaman. They're like druids, however, like their sorcerer counterparts, they get to pick and choose their spells. They're wisdom based, however, their difficulty checks are charisma, so high wisdom and charisma is a way to go for them. They're limited to light weapons and shield and certain weapons. However, they have spirits that could help them out or wreck their foes. So this is one of those classes from the Mask of the Betrayer expansion. It's a pretty decent turn on how they cast spells. And by the way, their spells is divine, so no armor failure, and it's in the from the druid pool. So keep that in mind if you want a class like this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get to reviewing the swashbucklers. So let's do it right now. Now swashbucklers are melee fighters. They can only use light armor. However, they get simple and of course martial weapons too. Now they're dex based due to the fact they have weapon finesse. So look for a weapon finesse weapon that's good. Also, if you have good intelligence or it's up there, it gets factored in their armor class too. They do gain some defensive feats, which is really nice too. So they're good frontline fighters, and if you have a tank in your party, you send them in, then you send your swashbuckler in to wipe out the rest. So this is a good base class for Neverwinter Nights too. And I'm going to probably say another advice too is swashbuckler plus duelist equals some mega damage. Yeah, duelist is a prestige class. Now next up, which is also new to Neverwinter Nights 2, is a warlock. Any evil or any KI they become. So yeah, no lawful business there. And their spells are invocations, so they could cast in light armor. They can use simple weapons. However, you get to pick and choose your invocations. Great news about that versus the other classes where they pick and choose. If they don't like something, they could just send it back in the pool and they pick something else different. The other ones cannot. And other than that, it's a pretty good class. Now, wizards, they're arcane spellcasters, so if you wear a plate or anything like that without the still spell feat, you will fail. Their weapon proficiencies are limited. They can only use cloth. However, they learn spells from a spell book, so they get to pick and choose their spells without them being leveling up. So you could go ahead and learn all sorts of spells and pick for certain situations. They can also specialize too in magic, which is good too. Now, as for my advice for prestige classes, I'm going to say is go ahead and pick ones that is your favorite. Otherwise, if your very first playthrough, like I did years ago, then I would say is definitely go 1 through 20 or 1 through 30 on set class. Other than that, just study the classes what you want, even the prestige classes, and you're good to go. So let's get to the next section of the video. Now, as far as alignment, well, I'm going to say this right now. Play whatever alignment you want to play. Now, there is some classes that are alignment restrictive, so read those classes before picking and choosing. And for example, if you pick a barbarian, you cannot be lawful at all. If you pick a paladin, you only have to be lawful good. You're stuck at that. Still, just play whatever alignment that you feel is right for you. Unless you're certain classes, deity is just there for flavor, so this way you get to worship your favorite god or goddesses. So yeah, go for wherever deity you like. Now, as for backgrounds, they give you some positives and negatives. If you're afraid of those negatives, then take no background, but still they're very nice to have. So go ahead, pick whatever one you want to do. Now, next up is the skills in Neverwinter Nights 2. There are some changes, like for example, discipline, that has gone from Neverwinter Nights 1. They have some crafting ones too, which is really good too, since the crafting system definitely improved from 1 to 2 in my mind. So let's go over them briefly. Now, first one's appraisal. That's when you get a bonus if the check goes through in buying and selling. So that's good for shops. Now, bluff, that's a dialogue skill, which you get to BS your way out of trouble, or BS your way through certain conversations. I'll say that. Now, concentration, that's when if you get hit by a foe, you still be able to cast your spell. After that is craft alchemy. Now, craft alchemy is the ability to make potions. Yeah, that's right. They add that in this game too. Now, after that is craft armor. So you get to craft all types of armor, including different types of metals too, or materials. Now, after that is craft trap. That's back from Neverwinter Nights 1. Yeah, that's right. You get to craft some nice traps too in this game too. And after that, I'm just going to let you all look at the type of stuff you get to craft the traps in Neverwinter Nights 2 is craft weapons. Yeah, you get to craft weapons depending on what ranks you get to do, and also the materials too. Yeah, you get to make alchemy silver in this game, everyone. So for example, alchemy silver longsword. Now, diplomacy, that's like talking to people to persuade them to do things your way. Yeah, that's back. And next up is disable devices. That's when you disable traps. And at times you can even recover them too. Yeah, those are really useful. Heal, that's when you also heal your characters or yourself. Eventually get to cure poison and disease, which is good. You gotta have a healing kit. Now hide, that's when you hide away from foes. As long as you don't get detected, higher number in hide, the better hiding you are at. Intimidate, that's when you force people to do things your way or you're going to beat the crap out of them. In other words, you threaten them. It's a talking skill. Next up is listen. You get to listen on foes if they're hiding. Like, for example, if they're footprints, they step on a twig, you hear that, boom. After you got to spot them. It goes great with spot, by the way. Lore, that means how well you get to identify items too. So, for example, if you have high lore, you get to identify a whole bunch of good items. Now, move silently, that's when you move without stepping on anything like that. It's great with hide, so teaming up with that. Open locks, that's when you unlock chests, unlock doors, or unlock certain cabinets where you're supposed to not be in. Now, next up is parry. Yeah, that is a ability that you could deflect blows and also sometimes counterattack too. It's not bad at all. Perform. That's great for bards only. That boosts up their songs. So if you're a bard, go ahead and jump that to a high level. Let's see what else. Search, that's when you search for traps or anyone else hidden too. So yeah, you do listen, spot, and search. That's a great combination to spot people. Now, next up after that is set trap. That's when you set traps on the ground and walk away. If some foes walk through it, well, you did your deed against them. Now, after you set traps is Slay of Hands. That's basically stealing. So I'd probably say it's combined with hide and move silently if you want to be the stealing type of steal. People don't like that at all. Spellcraft, that's when you get to check out what type of spells they cast. Every 10 skill levels, which is different from 5 in Neverwinter Nights 1, you get some bonus resistance. Spot, that's when you spot things that are out of the ordinary, or if someone's hidden, you get to spot them too. Combined with listen and also search too. New to Neverwinter Nights 2 is survival. You get to detect foes on the map more. It's pretty good too. Also, it's great in the Storms expansion, which you get to check foes on the map. Now, taunt, that's when you basically distract your foes. If they're distracted, you get some bonuses against them. Now, after taunt is tumble, that's when if you move around, you get to dodge foes. Otherwise, you get opportunity attacks against you. Every 5 points into tumble will give you +1 in armor class. So keep that in mind. Last but not least is use magical devices. You get to use items, weapons, and armor that you're supposed to not allow to be used. So higher points than that, more likely you get to use something. So for example, if you're a fighter, you see a nice blackguard weapon and you have high in use magical device, well, you get to use it. Same thing with other classes using some things they couldn't use. As long as they're within their proficiencies. That includes weapon and armor. That's about it for the skills. I'm going to go ahead and briefly talk about feats. Now, as for feats, I'm going to go ahead and give some simple advice. Go whatever feat is your class setup. So, for instance, if you're a fighter, definitely focus on the weapon feats. And some of the other ones, like, for example, Power Attack, Cleave, and Great Cleave 2. Now, if you're like an Arcane caster, yeah, go for the spellcasting feats too. Same thing with the Cleric and Druids too. Now, Clerics, if you want to do Turn Undead, that is fine too. So go over with whatever feat you want to definitely aim for. And yeah, read them all if you want to spend time on them. And I'm going to give you one final advice on the feat section with one certain feat that is definitely needs its attention. Now, about that leadership feat. So the leadership feat is like this, adds 2 more party members. Now in Neverwinter Nights 2, for the most part, you get 4. Now this works great with only one campaign, the Storms of Zirhar. The other ones, it does absolutely nothing. So if you're not playing that one campaign, even the feat tells you about that. It's a useless feat, except for in the Storms campaign. So definitely keep this in mind and only pick one character to select that feat if you're in that campaign. Now, next up is saving throws. They're back from Neverwinter Nights 1, and let me go ahead and read each description. Now, Fortitude, for example, protects against damage to the body, i.e. against poison and diseases, for example. Constitution, aka Con, boosts this. Now, Reflex saves. That's ability to dodge certain magic and also traps too. Now, magic, for example, is like Fireball and Dragon Breath. Dex boosts this. Now, will saves protects against mental influences too, like for example, fear and some magic in the death magic department, like gazes and such. You get to protect against those too. Wisdom boosts this too, so depending on what class you have, you get some saves that are up and down. If you need a certain save throws, yeah, look for items too, or even spells casted on you. So let's get to the next part of the video. Now, next up is movement and exploring. So you could use your arrow keys or your mouse keys to look around. Also, if you click on the left button, you get to move around too. And there's also containers you could loot too. Now, in order to highlight containers, the Z key. So looting also is very simple to do. Point to a container and just simply loot it and take the contents out of it. You could double click or drag it to your character bar. So it's not that hard to do. Let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more about the map system real quick and the traps and of course locks objects. Now, as for the maps, just simply hit the M button. Now, some places are automatically revealed, like for example, the tutorial area, West Harbor. Now, there's other places you have to definitely explore in order to see what's going on the map too. So definitely keep the map handy in case you're lost. So let's go ahead and talk about traps and lock objects. Like every other Dungeon and Dragon game, there are traps there. Unlike the one in West Harbor that's harmless, they can hurt you badly or worse, kill you. Use the search ability, or better yet, just automatically go close to it and disarm it. So be careful of traps. One more thing we'll talk about is lock containers. Now, one more thing about lock containers. If you bash them up, well, you might lose the item. So make sure you have the open lock skill to open them up. And don't do it inside someone's house because you might get an alignment hit. So let's get to the next part of the video. Now, next part of the video is the inventory system. So hit the I on the computer or hit the I in inventory. Now, if it's red, you cannot equip. If it's not red, you could definitely equip. You can right click to inspect it. Other than that, it's very easy to do, and the double arrows organizes your inventory. Now, really quick about equipment that has stats on. You're thinking, I have these items here. They're at least up to 20 in strength. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to go ahead and then get 20 plus strength. No, it does not work like that in Neverwinter Nights 2. In fact, it'll only take the highest stat that you equip. So if you have, for example, a plus 12 strength item on, anything else like a belt or gloves that has strength on it, it will not count. So definitely fill the other holes with other stats on it and just manage your character's equipment wisely, especially in the stat department. So let's get to the next part of the video. Now, next up is your character sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and go over each of the tabs. Now, this tab will tell you your character's race, class, how much more experience points they do need, also what weapon they're using, if it's a offhanded weapon, that too, their deity, default stuff, and anything else here in this section. Left side will tell you your stats, plus and minuses, and also your save throws or saving throws. And you can also have custom portraits too if you want to go that route. Now, next up, this is your skill tab. So you see some modifiers there. If there is, that means your stats is benefiting in it, or you take a penalty in it if certain stats are too low. So it's a great way to look at your skills too, to see what you need to step up on via items. Now, this is your feat section. This does include background feats and also feats you gain along in the story. Well, actually, in any of the campaigns you're playing in. And there's also your weapon feats too, your meta magic feats, your general feats, or any of the class feats. Even your epic feats will appear here. Now, the final tab after I'm done looking through this third one is your AI tab. Now, my advice about AI is, for the most part, is to shut them off, so this way you control what you're doing. Yeah, this is the tab, so definitely take some time to look at that. Turn some things on, turn some things off. And that's about it for the character sheet, so I'm going to get to the next section. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the user interface. For the most part, it's very crystal clear and clean. Now, the eye right there, that is your access to your spell book, also your inventory, your character bar, more too. Now, the one in the middle is your rest bar. So you hit that, you rest up, and on the left, on the right of it is the AI. You turn that on and off. Your hotbar is on the bottom with underneath the chat. Now on the bottom right is exactly is some of your skills you get to use, including track, hide, etc. Upper left is your map, and then your portrait, including your party ones on the upper right hand corner. It's not that hard to use the UI in this game. Now, as for the spell system in the game, access your spell book. Now, if you're not a sorcerer, bard, or any of the classes where you pick your spells when you level up, well, guess what happens if you take a spell out? It won't be able to be cast until you put something in, and also rest up too. So I decided to change some of my spells up. I'm going to put mage armor, and also this one too. Now, casting spells is very simple. After you rest up, there's a quick bar, and you just simply use that, or drag the spell icon down into the hotbar and cast it that way really quick. So spell casting in this game is really simple, really easy to use, and especially useful at certain situations at times. In Neverwinter Nights 2, there's a hotbar. There's a total of 5 sets of hotbars there you could do. Now, for example, you could drag your spells in the hotbar. You go in your character menu, also drag some feats in the hotbar. You could even drag some of the skills and abilities on the lower right hand corner into the hotbar. It's really simple, really easy to use. Either use the number pad on your computer, or just click the icon on the hotbar. It's really simple to use overall. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the party system in Neverwinter Nights 2. For the most part, you get to control your party's inventories, also their hotbars, and if they have any spells, you can put them in there. If you can, turn off the AI, so this way you get them to cast the spells you want them to cast. Yeah, that's right. And the other 3 expansions, yeah, you get NPCs that you could level up, but you cannot pick their classes. You can pick the feats and skills, but not those. The Storms one is the exception to the rule, because you get to make 4 player-made party members. Yeah, that's right, 4 exactly. So definitely keep a balanced party to survive. If you need to interchange party members, go ahead and do so for certain quests, or if you feel like it. In Neverwinter Nights 2, the dialogue is here like this text right here, or sometimes in many cutscenes, which you could talk to other characters. Talk to everybody. You might get quests, you might get party members, or you might get other things that will benefit you big time. So if you do not like a conversation with a certain person, save before talking. That's my advice. So let's get to the next part. Now let's go ahead and talk about what's new in Neverwinter Nights 2 that's different than 1. Obviously, the influence system. Yeah, that's right. You get to influence your party members. So if you have a low influence with certain party members later on, it could bite you in the butt in the story. And if you have higher influence, especially in the Mask of Betrayer campaign, you might get some nice bonuses from that said party member. Also, play your alignment. So if you're a lawful good fighter, yeah, just do lawful good conversations. Don't break any oaths or anything like that. If you're chaotic evil, go evil, cheat, whatever you want, break the rules. So play your character and definitely use the influence system to your advantage. And also, if you don't like a conversation, say before talking and then reload, so this way you get the best results that you feel like that is good for you. Now, as for combat, it's just like the Baldur's Gate series and even Neverwinter Nights with the pause system. So definitely select each character to attack, or select the character that casts spells too. Now, this is West Harbor, so it's safe for now. Still, whatever choice you make outside of West Harbor or anywhere else that is dangerous in Neverwinter Nights 2 will have consequences if you fail. Yeah, in other words, death could happen to you. So do be careful. And also, your rolls will also matter too. So, for example, if you have certain weapons that has a critical rate roll of 17 through 20, and you roll a 18 on the screen, you score a critical hit. Now, some foes are immune to that. Be careful of that. Look out for foes' strengths and weaknesses. That's very important. Always use the pause screen, so this way you could decide your next move or your next spell too. That's about it. So let's get to the next part of the video, leveling up. Now let's go ahead and level up our Grey Dwarf, even though he has a level adjustment of 2. So simply pick the class you want to level up. You could keep going the fighter. Now if you have enough requirements, you could do the prestige classes. There's your skills too you could do. Now cross classes cost 2 points. It's every certain number levels. You get feats too. Pick the ones you want to pick. And as for attributes, aka stats, Every 4 levels you gain 1 stat point to put into the other stats of your choice. So let's get to the crafting part. Now, next up on the list is crafting in Neverwinter Nights 2. I'm going to go over the basics right now. If you have either craft armor, craft weapons, and have enough, well, guess what? You get to craft some nice things too. You can even craft other materials to make some armor too that's unique. Like, for example, you can make a Dwarven axe that is alchemy silver. That'll give you boosts against the undead and other types of evil too. So definitely make sure you have enough skills, and just remember some of the materials are limited, so be careful on what you definitely craft. Also, you could craft potions and traps too. So yeah, craft away because you get some nice benefits from it. One last thing about crafting is if you want to invest some of your party members in certain crafting skills, also some crafting feats too, so this way you benefit fully in the crafting system. Here's some final advice from me. Save often, save early. That's very important. Save when you go in the zone. If you feel like it saves this way you talk to other characters too. Even save before and after leveling up, so this way you could pick certain spells that you like. If you don't like a revert save, then pick another set of spells if you're one of those classes like a sorcerer. Yeah, definitely try to learn much spells as you can if you're a wizard. If you're like a fighter or any frontline fighter, definitely go on the front line. Keep your casters in the back like mages and clerics. And if you're a rogue, go ahead and be sneaky. Yeah, look out for traps and anything else like that. Don't bash any containers at all. Make sure you have a rogue to open it up. Don't be afraid of the crafting system and focus on what type of character you want to build. Well, everyone, this is it for my Neverwinter Nights 2 Don't Panic New Player video guide. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Thank you for watching and have a great day or night. Please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more content like this. If you like what you see, then check out my suggestions on the upper left hand corner, or YouTube suggestions on my video on the bottom left hand corner. Have a great day or night, and please stay safe. Also, enjoy the view.